Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 238th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by my fellow Hans Zimmer appreciator, Jaden.
Yo.
Good morning, and our resident Irish citizen, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Yeah, what's up?
We're making our return. Jaden held down the fort last week. We thank him for that. They did a great job. But we're back to normal here. How was your vacation, as the Yankees would say?
Mine was good. How was yours, Zach?
Oh, mine was great. Had a great time. Yeah. Up in Brisbane.
Where'd you go again?
Brisbane.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah. I feel like this is the part. It doesn't sound like we did much very interesting. But
I mean,
you know,
I went to a vineyard and we just, chilled in Port Campbell. So it was nice. Didn't do much, really.
did you drink wine? Are you a wine drinker? You would be.
Did I
right?
drink wine at the vineyard? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Did I drink wine at the winery? Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. I wouldn't if I went to a winery, so I was just asking. But yes, yeah. I imagine you would.
Would you sign up for a wine tour knowing that you don't drink? Just come along for the experience?
For the knowledge?
No,
I would never sign up to a wine tour. I couldn't give less of a fuck, to be totally honest. But what's the experience if you're not drinking? What is it like to go and walk out into the vines and?
No. Just to be around mates. It's just pretty much hang out with mates and go to some cool buildings sometimes.
Oh.
Sometimes you like cheese and...
Yeah, you can eat the cheese and shit, yeah.
Stuff in the
I can eat the cheese?
You can eat the cheese.
Look, okay, the fact that you just said I can eat the cheese, honestly, like but no, just because like I do like some cheese, don't get me wrong, but just because like I feel like if I'm not participating, what's the point?
No, fair.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast, where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday, and this week, that movie is Mission Impossible 3, which opened in the US on May 5th, 2006. It was directed by J.J. Abrams. It is an action spy film, and the synopsis says, IMF agent Ethan Hunt comes into conflict with a dangerous and sadistic arms dealer who threatens his life and his fiancée in response.
He's a bad man.
He's a bad man.
Yeah.
He's also really, really compelling and the movie's great. Fitzy, what do you think of Mission Impossible 3?
I think Mission Impossible, it was good. It was good. I think it's almost great. But I think basically I'm pretty much in line with what Jane said. I think this sets the standard for the rest of the films. It's way more action oriented. It's
oh yeah,
the style is there's definitely the J.J. Abrams lens flare grainy stuff, but it definitely still sets a somewhat directorial style moving forward. Standardizes it a little bit more, but yeah, I think it's pretty fun. I think the action sequences are pretty good. Yeah, there are some great scenes, I think, particularly with the Hoffman stuff, but nothing it's almost, there were almost awesome scenes, but just not quite, but I think I was more bored this time than watching it other times, but yeah, it's still decent.
Yeah, I'm basically right there with you where I don't know, I'm in a slightly weird spot with the movie because I think it's very good. I absolutely have a good time watching it, always do. I think it's very capably directed. I think there are definitely great scenes in this movie and lots of great parts to this overall. Pretty much every scene works. It's very, I don't know, it's very, very entertaining. And I sort of end up leaning overall sort of in terms of the spectrum of the franchise, leaning on the camp that thinks it's underrated. Just because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't get much love. I feel like it's, I don't know why, even when you search Mission Impossible on Letterboxd, it's always the second last one to come up under, of course, 2 is the last one. It's, I don't know, it just feels like it has the least buzz always, the least people talking about it. And I feel like in that sense, I kind of want to stand up for it because it does a lot of things really well. At the same time, though, I totally agree with you that I feel like It's very good, never quite great. It never quite, and I don't know, and hopefully we can try and figure out exactly what it is. It lacks a certain something, just a little something, just a little bit of special sauce, or I don't know what it is, but like something that still is missing that then Macquarie. Maybe, I was trying to think of it. Is it like this? I don't know if Macquarie brings this like real time, big time cinema feeling to this franchise, this grandiosity to this franchise that it just doesn't have yet in this form. I don't know.
I think it's unfair to contribute that to Macquarie when I think it kind of builds that grandiose itself just as it kind of continues, you know, as it kind of becomes more of a franchise with the standing.
Yeah, that's certainly true. And you sort of needed this one as like a starting point to get there. That's fair. We'll have to say I'm looking forward to, as we continue, trying to keep an eye out for that in particular. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm basically right there with you. I think it's very good. I'll stand on a pedestal and defend this movie. At the same time, acknowledge it's not quite great for some reason. But yeah, Jaden, what do you think?
I'm honestly pretty on par with you guys still. Before I get into it, do either of you guys log these on a computer or do you log it on your phone?
On Letterboxd on my phone.
Yeah.
Phone.
Yeah. Dude, you're missing out on an awesome Easter egg.
Oh no, I saw that last time, I think.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You get like this like full like 20-second like screen of like, you know, your mission if you choose to accept it and whatever, and it says like a bunch of cool shit in like Mission Impossible like format.
Is this for any mission movie?
Yeah, for any mission one. Yeah,
that's very cool.
Because I think I realized last time. I think is when I first did it on my computer, and this time again I was reminded of it because I forgot to bring it up. Yeah,
that's very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. I still see this as one of like the individual ones before like the series homogenizes. I think it's still distinctly 2000s, and still very JJ, particularly in the colors. I think Ghost Protocol is truly where it starts, you know, having this Mission Impossible kind of idea.
They drop the numbers.
Oh, they do too, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I love everything about it. I'm always surprised by how quickly you capture Hoffman and then he's out of the wind again, and like how that sequence all plays out kind of always catches me off guard. So like I don't know, maybe there's something a bit there about like how the film's constructed in total, but yeah.
In terms of that lacking a bit of something for you, do you mean?
Yeah, it all just kind of feels a bit too, you know, thing happens.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. I don't know exactly what it is. I feel like, I mean, coming down to sit down and watch these earlier films, there's something very refreshing about them being all around the 2-hour mark before we get the runtime expanded out in later ones. But maybe there's something to that in terms of they're a bit too breezy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're right, because it does feel like that thing happens. I know you get the really cool scene on the airplane where Ethan interrogates him, but I don't know. Yeah, it's not a lot of time to really sit with the character and sit with, I don't know, the heaviness of what he's doing and everything. Like, I don't know. I don't really feel the presence of. I mean, he has incredible screen presence, but I just mean in terms of from a character point of view, I don't really feel, you know, the stakes with him as much as I think you do with some of the later villains. I think that's just maybe time spent, or I don't know what exactly it is.
Because when I think about like the introduction of Sean Harris' character in 5, Rogue Nation, I just think of him as so much more of a staple villain, and like obviously because he returns, but even if we were to take that on its own, I think the time that is spent with Sean Harris is helps establish him so much better. Like I think what we get with Hoffman's great. And that's because of his performance rather than time spent with him. Whereas like Harris getting actually to spend time with him helps so much with that like villain, and like actually adding that kind of degree of danger to him. You know?
Agreed. Yeah, because I don't think the Owen Davian character is actually that really on the page really that interesting. Like, okay, he's a guns dealer. All right, I think isn't it like retroactively explained in a later one that he's actually part of the what's that the syndicate group or whatever that like all the villains end up being connected to, like a bomb thing.
They're a full spectre.
Yeah, whatever. I think so. I think that like I could be. I don't remember exactly how they do it, but I think it ends up some way like drop that later where it's like, I don't know, he's on like one of the big like fucking screens or something and they put him up quickly and explain that he's tied to it all or something like that. But like, so you really only get that retroactively later. So from this movie's point of view, he's really just, okay, he's influential bad guy. Got it. Cool. Whatever. And obviously ends up sort of working with the US government at the end. But yeah, he kind of ends up feeling a bit like I don't know, like a leveled up mini boss or something, especially in his final fight. You know, it's just kind of like there isn't anything really, I don't know, ethically or moralistically in conflict there. It's just sort of like he's just a guy Ethan's got to beat, you know.
Yeah, but I think he's supposed to be this kind of like force of nature that you don't really understand because, like, to Musgrave's point, he's just another of these like bad middlemen that kind of spring up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So I think that is maybe the intention. But I don't think I think the film's real fault is not getting to know Musgrave enough because, you know, he could more be seen as the real villain if you actually spend more time with him.
And especially given the relationship it sets up between him and Cruz.
Yeah, and you know the fact that he knows his family and all that. But like, they try to hide Musgrave being the villain so much that they miss the opportunity for more, you know, for more screen time, more presence with him.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. I think you're right. Yeah, that's true because you're right. I think the twist with him being the villain is effective. Do you guys agree? In terms of like I know obviously I've seen this movie a few times, so I know it's coming. But like, I think it works as a twist in terms of like, so you know, if you want to give the audience something they're not expecting, because he goes so far out of his way, like you were sort of saying, they do make such an effort to hide it. He goes so far out of his way to help Ethan escape that situation a bit earlier that you sort of don't suspect him. But you're right; it sort of comes at the cost of, I guess they made the sacrifice of wanting to have the effective, you know, sort of twist moment, red herring, whatever, as opposed to actually sort of giving him much characterization, you know.
Yeah. The moment he comes in, I think it's somewhat effective. Yeah. Like, yeah, it does function as a twist, but
when he sits down and like reveals everything.
Yeah. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah. Oh, I just the trivia for that scene was that that scene was rewritten in the morning of, and so Billy Crudup, who plays him, was like apparently reading cue cards as he was like sitting in that chair.
Oh, really?
He didn't know the lines, but like you can't tell. So I thought that, you know, I think it all works well. It's just I think maybe it does contribute to sort of the larger picture of the film lacking a certain stakes, a certain understanding of, I don't know, a bit of weight.
Yeah, I think that scene's odd too because like Billy Crudup, like him focusing so much on the microdot, where like the microdot wasn't. It really wasn't that significant. Like she basically just fell for the diversion that it was, you know, the other guy that it was Morpheus, you know.
Lawrence Fishburne, yeah,
Lawrence Fishburne.
Morpheus, yeah.
I didn't want to say another actor, so I just went Morpheus, you know. But I think like that it wasn't that significant, and so his reveal scene isn't that like powerful, you know. Yeah, and like it's funny you say he was reading off cue cards because it did. I don't know if it was just that element of it, but there was something about that felt like awkward. Yeah. Well,
it sounds like from a production point of view, they sounds like they struggled with these things as well. This question about the character and the villain and stuff, because they were rewriting it, so it must have been something they were trying to crack as they were going. I thought it worked fine, but in terms of, I don't know, his motivations, like something about it timed in 2006. I don't know, something about like his line, like he's talking about, you know, basically he's trying to manufacture. The way I understood it is that he's trying to manufacture war in the Middle East. So the US and politicians and bureaucracy can profit from it, essentially, which is the timing of it in 2006. Kind of, I don't know. It felt a bit real to just sort of drop so quickly. Like, I guess in that sense I like it, but I wish the movie, I guess like we're saying, I wish the movie played with it more, because it is quite a heavy theme. Like, he has that one line where he says, he sort of just casually drops in there, like, and when the sand settles, is the way he put it. And it's just like, that feels real, man. That's real. That's like, he's talking full on about the invasion of the Middle East from the US and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of a cool thing to throw in there.
It's a very Greengrass line.
A very what line, sorry?
Paul Greengrass type line.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. He's actually... Oh, I could see Greengrass directing this, actually. Yeah, so... Yeah, I don't know. That sort of hit home for me, and I liked it. But maybe I would have liked it if it was sort of more cohesive throughout, if it was saying something bigger, as opposed to it sort of just... It's very much only in that one scene, I think.
I mean, I think the whole idea works against the setup with, like, Ethan being happy and stuff, having, like, a domestic life, because, like, he's thrown into this mission and this like conspiracy, basically, where everything's kind of corrupted, you know. So I think that's where the corruption angle makes sense, because it's just like, it adds so much like negative, it adds just so much negative to the whole force, you know, for Ethan.
Absolutely, because he feels like, because he's confronted with the reality that like his higher ups are like basically trying to keep him trying to keep him active, trying to keep him, you know, fighting, essentially, you know.
Yeah, and for their own, like, you know, malicious purposes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They're not looking for world peace here, are they? You know, that's some pretty real shit. If you're Ethan Hunt, if you're like a career spy who puts your life on the line, you know, doing this crazy shit, and you learn that your superiors just kind of want to keep pushing you back out there. You know what I mean? For no reason, really. I feel like that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's some pretty deep stuff there they could get into, but it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan gets manipulated in like every movie, so he
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I should be used to it by next time. But
is there ever a situation like in the majority of the movies at this point, he's like a rogue agent again? Like, he's not actually working with IMF. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it
happens again.
That's the whole thing. You know,
that's the whole.
Like,
he's always operating
actually
outside
turned
of
this
IMF.
time. Yeah. How far can you take a man like that?
But even like Cavill says, you know, it's like,
yeah, this is like Cavill's line. How far can a man like that?
Oh, is that actually that?
Oh, I forgot about that. We'll get there. That's cool. Yeah, but it's just so funny. Like, it even happen? Doesn't it happen again in Dead Reckoning? I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah, like that's the whole thing.
He's against the what's the guy from the first one?
Oh yeah. Oh my god, is it start with a K or something?
Kittredge. Yeah.
Kittredge. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. It happens all over again. The poor guy. Oh man, he needs some workplace security, for God's sake. Oh, we were sort of talking about the villains. I guess I don't know. We'll stick there. I've just got to say that I think this opening scene, this cold open, is phenomenal. I think it's very effective. Philip Seymour Hoffman is incredible in it. Tom Cruise is incredible in it. The handheld sort of frenetic nature of the way JJ directed it. It just slaps. It just pulls you right in. And achieved, I assume it's pretty clear what they were going for in opening with that. And I don't think any of the other, I could be wrong, I don't think any of the other films sort of have like a jump ahead like that. So that's always fun. I always enjoy that kind of a trope. But yeah, I just thought the scene was phenomenal and just really pulled you in. And then the way Philip is just counting to 10 and the way it progresses, it just ratchets it up, and it's a really tense scene. I really enjoy it. It's probably the best scene in the movie, in my opinion. There's a lot of good scenes in the movie.
Well, like watching that scene at the start, it's kind of like you think that Ethan is he's withholding information for like the greater good or something, but he actually just doesn't know later on, right? So
Oh yeah,
he's just
Yeah,
making shit up. Well, he's
yeah.
not.
He
making it,
literally
Well, he is, but
turned up with the rabbit's foot.
Mm,
The intention, you know what I mean? Like, obviously they were going to track it, but still with the intent of giving it. And then they gas him, and it's like, what? And then he wakes up like he's genuinely confused, as you would be. It's like, bro, didn't I give it to you? As he says, yeah. Jan, I know what Fitzy's take's going to be on this, but like, where does Philip Seymour Hoffman rank for you as a villain performer? We've sort of talked about the character and stuff, but I just mean like as a presence, as a performance in this film.
I think it's probably like. I mean, I think the only one that really beats him out is Sean Harris, right?
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on like. I mean, like you kind of do get different kinds of villains at different points in regards to, like how weighty they are on each film. So it might be a bit unfair to stack them all together, but like
That's true.
in terms of like being this like overarching villain that they kind of have for like the film, you know, I think probably second, yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I think. I mean, I'll have to rewatch Fallout and get to because Cavill's fun too. But
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to think. Is Cavill like? Do you count Cavill on the same list as like you kind of Harris and Hoffman characters?
I would. I probably would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Maybe
he has enough of the film in pure villain mode for it to count. I think.
Right.
But yeah. That is yeah. I think he's obviously he's great. I'm glad we got this performance of him. I don't know, just getting to show up the scenery with Tom Cruise at times. You know what I mean? I don't know. Something about that scene was just. I don't know. It sounds like I liked it more than you guys, but like it was just the way he's counting and their dialogue, and then when he gets to 9 and like Cruise has gets the single tear running down, I'm like, oh man, this is good stuff. Like this, it just really worked.
Yeah, no, I like how Cruise like tries to he like shakes himself on each second. He's like, it's like he takes a different approach for each like second, you know?
Yes. Every time, like every time he goes up a number, he's like starting fresh. Of like, I try not to get him up another number, you know. But he counts to 10. Of course he does.
I think I agree though. Like I think, Hoffman would be second to Harris.
Yeah. And it really is. Yeah, like we were saying, it really is just all in watching him on screen. That's pretty much all it is. It's not like we're going to dissect the character and all that kind of stuff. It's just you got to watch him, and it's just very enjoyable. Kenneth Branagh was cast as the villain of this film, but because of shooting delays, he had to drop out to begin work on As You Like It, which I don't know what that is, but
Shakespeare.
Oh, of course, that makes sense. Kenneth Branagh always chooses Shakespeare. So yeah, that's interesting because I could I feel like there's some Sator in this character a little bit. You know what I mean? Weapons dealer, just sort of an asshat kind of thing. I can see it a little bit. So I don't know. I found that interesting. Obviously, he wouldn't have like the Russian accent or whatever. So I found that interesting. But I think I don't know. I'm happy with how it all worked out for sure. I will say that obviously one of my big critiques of Mission Impossible 2 was just the romance and that whole aspect of the movie being the crutch of the movie and falling flat. The similarity here is that the romance, I think, is also the crutch of this movie, but it's just a lot better. Yeah. I actually cared, and I was rooting for it. And I think it's a few different factors that make that work. And it's the, I think there's no really corny. Basically, they didn't do any corny ass bad scenes, which is that's a big first step. I like Michelle Monaghan a lot, and Tom Cruise's chemistry is very good. And then also, I think it's also just important that they thematically tied the romance to sort of be. So they tied it more to Ethan's character as like sort of like we've already brought up the notion of him wanting normalcy, craving a normal life, suburban regular stuff, and the fact we obviously get to experience that at the start at his house party. The fact that that's all sort of tied together to create the motivation for him in the film, it just works. It just all functions and flows way better than some unbelievable corny relationship that didn't really have any purpose for existing. You know what I mean? So I have to give the film props there for sure. It drove the whole thing correctly because I lined up with his motivations and I cared about the relationship. But how do you feel about that, Jaden? You agree?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I think it is the strongest romance that the series has. I think it's full commitment to kind of like Ethan's full commitment to what was her name?
What's her character's name?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Julia.
Yeah. I think it's fantastic. I think the movie does a fantastic job of like selling it.
Yeah, big time.
I don't know, like because like your first introduction is just you're plunged into the engagement party, but like and it kind of might put you a bit out of depth, but you just really buy into it. I don't know what it is. Quiet, other than just kind of cruises like wistful glances across the room, you know.
Him lip reading creepily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all it is, though. I really think it's just seeing him in that setting. I always remember the opening scene of this movie. I mean, not the one I just raved about. The other opening past the credits where we get into the house party. I always remember that one too. I think it's just cool to see him in that environment. Ethan Hunt, we see him a certain way. We see him now just hanging out at his house drinking beer. You know what I mean?
I think
you can see he's really enjoying it as well. You know?
Yeah, but then with that, it's also like the regret and remorse of having to leave and lie to her to kind of go do these things. That also sells like the other half of how much he wants to be there. I think it's like incredibly strong stuff like from that angle. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think I'm sorry. I was just thinking about when you said, "Is it the best that the series has?" Probably. I think the Ferguson stuff always felt cheap, knowing that he was actually married to
her still.
Yeah. Because like even in like Fallout, when they're like split, they didn't split because of like they don't love each other. It's like it was a safety thing. Like it just got too much. So like, I just feel like she's always been like the true love. So I feel like it just undercut Ferguson stuff and now Atwell's kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. I think I can't remember how Fallout ends there, but like, well, she should be in the last one. I think she should be, if I remember correctly. I don't want to start recalling Fallout, but I feel like she still has a place to be in, the final reckoning here.
I don't know. Like they're not going to make him choose again, would he?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, but if they do like a Dark Knight Rises thing where it's like he dies, but he's actually still there, like, and the woman he's with, it's got to be her, right, in that scenario. If he fully abandoned, you know what I mean?
Yeah, in that scenario probably.
Yeah, but isn't she with that other guy? Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that shit. Ditch him. No, whatever. But like once Ethan Hunt's
he
back
dies in Final Reckoning, and then
Yeah, perfect.
Ethan
screenwriting 101 right there. We got it. You killed the other one. Exactly. I guess Luthen ended up being right though, with this in mind, that the relationship can't really last more than he said 2 years, but like this lovely relationship that the movie ends on, it just can't last, which is kind of a bummer.
Pretty much almost written out of Ghost Protocol as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't remember. I know she's not in it, but I can't remember how they address that. I mean, this film obviously does absolutely nothing, right? There's nothing to address Thandie Newton.
No, it's been 6 years. They're just pissed off.
Yeah. So they love. Yeah, it's kind of so at least they made the effort to bring her back in, Michelle Monaghan back in Fallout. But like this franchise, I guess, does have a thing of just like ending one film on like the happy relationship that Ethan gets, and then just ignoring it the next time. You know what I mean? Because that's what I think at the time Ghost Protocol came out. That's like essentially what it did. Everyone was like, "What? They did it again?" Damn.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Speaking of chicks that Ethan's rooting, we're going to talk about Lindsay, played by Kerry Russell here. I feel like maybe this is something else when we're talking about things that the film doesn't quite go all the way with or lacks a little bit of that something. maybe this is one of those threads because, I mean, I'm glad it doesn't end up being like a sort of standard, he's sort of torn between which woman he wants to choose or whatever. Like, he never gets the chance to do that. And I really like Lindsay's death scene. But in terms of like his history with her and everything, I don't know. They very directly address the notion of did he sleep with her, and he doesn't really directly answer. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Did Ethan Hunt sleep with Lindsay, and what does that say about him?
He does directly address it. He says no. He was firm on that.
Does he actually say no? I don't think he does. He says, she was like a sister to me or whatever. Like, he sort of goes around it.
Yeah, that's saying no. He says no.
I didn't buy it.
Okay.
I didn't buy it.
Big trust issues.
But he didn't say no. That's the thing. He didn't. I feel like that was intentional in the writing. That's all I'm saying.
I think the whole film's trying to paint him as like this really good, just guy in general, and that was a part of it. They just was like a brotherly figure. So
you saw it pretty black and white, where that was actually like that scene was there to tell us that he wouldn't do that.
Mm.
Yeah, and the flashback sequences where it's like they're just, they're just like they have a very normal friend, like teacher. I don't know, just a normal relationship.
They kind of don't, though, in my opinion. They kind of don't. They have this sense of like, they have the sense of like, yes, yeah, like obviously literally in the scene, that's kind of what it is. But it's also like very clear that they, value each other quite a bit. And it's the kind of scene you insert when like, it's like a first flash scene that then later on you do it again and you show them like, they hook up. It's like a first step scene.
I think, okay, this, there was something I said about the second film, which is like Ethan feels like a slightly different character in this than like 3 and moving forward. I think this is one of the scenes that establishes that, because he's no longer that playboy, character. He's like this ultra good guy. He's like, his wife married the guy that, she didn't want to be with anyone else, and he is good in every other aspect of his life, and this is like one example of that. He's not that unstable force anymore. He's
right.
He's
it's like
Ethan
stacking
Hunt,
the evidence for that is like what it's trying to
do. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like, I can't. Yeah, it's a very valid interpretation. I don't know. I didn't take it that way. That's all I can say. I don't know.
There was nothing there, though. There was no.
Dude, so I feel like I'm going to know your answer to this then. But dude, the scene when like, he has Owen tied up on the plane, and he starts, Owen starts talking about you got a wife, you got a girlfriend, whatever, and like he stays composed through that, and then when he invokes Lindsay's name is when he snaps.
Yeah, now, she died, and he was
I get that. I don't know. I feel like it was very intentional. It's like, it's her. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like he invoked her name. That was the thing that pulled him over the edge.
I mean, she was the first agent that he cleared for the field. So
yeah,
he might be seeing it as his mistake rather than. I think it's just more of a his mistake, his fault kind of situation rather than anything else.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Okay. You guys are making me feel real alone right now. But I feel like other people watch this movie and agree with me. I don't know.
No, but that line, that conversation with Luther is there to dispel that notion.
Yeah, would you fuck your little sister?
What did you say? Sorry, Jen. What did you say?
Would you fuck your little sister?
Oh, but I read the scene. I get what you're saying. All I'm saying is that I read the scene as a bit of an obfuscation, as a bit of a.
You're not saying no in the same way that Cruz didn't say no, and you think that his implication there is yes. So now you're saying.
Yeah, you didn't say no. You didn't say no. Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
You didn't actually say the word no. So.
But like but he's like performance in the scene though. He's kind of got it. All right, let's move on from this. This is not good for me. I'm burying my own grave here. I acknowledge that. I will say that, like, okay, so maybe we can use this as an opportunity to what? God damn it!
We'll
I'm not
move
insane on this, guys.
Oh,
Watch the scene.
No. Oh my god! But they knew people would think that, and that's why they put the conversation with Luther in. You know, they knew people would think that from the flashbacks and from the relationship they establish. So they made it really obvious by having that thing with Luther. Like, there's no.
I disagree. It wasn't really obvious. Everyone out there, watch the scene and tell me what you think. Tell me what you think of the dialogue and Cruise's performance in it. I'm just saying. I don't think it's. I'm not even saying I disagree with you necessarily. I think you got a very valid point. I'm just saying I think there's some room there for interpretation of that. Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll of everyone who watches that shit. Okay. And it actually, and obviously it is more consistent with his character if you wouldn't. I get that. But, so it actually does make more sense if he doesn't. But anyway, whatever. The transition maybe a little bit to the action. I do just want to, I'll use Lindsay as a bit of a way to get there.
Yeah. Did they notice I did like this spinning thing? It was hilarious, dude. They did this thing when they met for the first, when they were rescuing her, Ethan and Lindsay, they did this like spinning thing whenever they like got up from anywhere.
Yeah, it was very like Bad Boys type of thing. Yeah,
it was hilarious, man. When you noticed it, it was like really funny.
I did not notice it.
I did it, like, every time 2 or 3 times.
Wait, do you mean like every time they sort of like broke out of cover or something?
Yeah, and they like lifted each other up and they did like a spin. It was funny, man.
But was it like actually like goofy?
Yeah, when you notice it, I think it is, yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Yeah, I didn't notice it. I was about to go and compliment this scene, but now it's
I mean, I think the action with them is good. Besides that.
Okay, all right, that's good. Yeah, I like this scene a lot. It's one of the I mean, this film has good action sequences overall, but it's probably the most memorable one. It's the one that always, like, when I think Mission Impossible 3, it's sort of the one that stands out the most to me, just with I think it's kind of where the color of JJ sort of comes through the most, especially in all the explosions and then afterwards in the chopper as well. I don't know. Yeah, it comes through there a lot. The explosion, dude, this building exploded so many times, it was insane. So that was cool.
That scene is when I kind of noticed how steely and kind of metallic the kind of palette was for the film.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Absolutely. Something about it. So it's sort of the first time we see Ethan like straight up going in like FPS style, you know what I mean? He's got his assault rifle. And he's just like, I don't know, we see him as like a full-on marksman here, which I don't think we've really seen before. So yeah, that was neat. It kind of had a different tactical sort of feel to it, and I liked it. His costume was cool as well. It kind of backed that up. Had a different sort of infiltration tactical sort of feel to it than we've seen before. So I thought it brought something new.
Oh yeah, it's like a massive commitment to like larger scale action. That like the whole franchise carries on moving forwards. Yeah, that's true. But even in the later ones, like obviously jumping the gun again, but I don't remember them ever feeling this like gun focused, I guess. Yeah, he doesn't usually have like the assault rifle thing.
Yeah. So I think this film might keep that as a bit of a unique thing, which I like. Yeah, so it was a very exciting sequence. Then they get into the chopper, and like Lindsay's death is brutal. Like the look of it, and like the sound of like the crunch or whatever it is, and her fucking brain explodes. It's very, very cool, very effective. Yeah, I read in the trivia that like JJ, the original version was like much gorier apparently, and he prefers that version, but they cut it down for the rating. Okay. I mean, obviously, without having seen that version, I think this version's really cool. I think it's you don't really need the gore, in my opinion. Like, just the bloody eyes going off center is enough for me to freak me out, personally.
Yeah. Just like the idea of having an explosive in your head or like an explosive in your body is disturbing. I remember I watched like, when I was a kid, there was like an episode of like some cop show or some like NCIS or CIA thing or something, and it was like there was a bomb in the guy's stomach, you know, like in The Dark Knight. And then I just dreamt about that for like a few nights, having a bomb, having an explosive in the stomach. But,
yeah, that's not. Yeah,
it is very disturbing.
Stuff. Very disturbing for sure. Yeah. How do you guys feel about the overall, like, sort of touched on it a few times, and it's definitely very prevalent in this scene, but like the JJ, the color, the lens flare, the sort of look and feel of the film. I sort of mentioned also, like, I think the handheld camera in certain scenes is prevalent. I think it's, it's something that I think he distinctly brings that isn't necessarily carried forward as much, but one of the things that this film has that I appreciate.
Was this his first film he directed?
It was. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because only Lost before this, wasn't it?
Yep. Well, actually, sorry, I've got the trivia here. Abrams was hired after Tom Cruise binge watched 2 seasons of Alias on DVD, which was his first show.
Okay.
And was impressed with his work. So, and Alias is like a spy thing as well. It's like a show. Right. So that's how he got the gig. And with a budget of $150 million, this is the most expensive movie ever undertaken by a first-time feature film director. Pretty huge. But it's, that makes it sort of sound like they gave this guy an unknown $150 million. He was a successful TV director, so it's, it's not quite. It doesn't sound quite as extreme as it may sound. But
I don't think that Abrams just proves so much that he has the source to direct it. Like to kind of go in for your first bat, on this kind of format and do this, and then continues to do it so successfully later. I think people undermine him a lot. But I don't know. I think it's quite incredible.
I agree. I think JJ's super underrated as a director. I think if you look at any of his films, and if you have qualms with his films, I think they're more often than not like script issues or other things. Like, and not to, he's a writer too. Like, he co-writes all his stuff. He co-wrote this film, so you know what I mean. So like, maybe that's not saying that he's blameless or anything like that. Maybe you might critique him as a writer. I think everything he brings on screen in terms of directing the actors, everything, all the choices he makes with the camera and the feel of the film, I think they're always on point. I think he's as purely as a director, I think he's one of the best in my opinion.
I think because the 2 kind of bigger action sequences are set at night, it just makes like the grainy Abrams style even more kind of noticeable. There's a lot of like darkly lit scenes in this film, and like you'd see the grain there, and it's a distinctly like 2000s feel, as you said.
Definitely.
It honestly feels like aesthetically, like the film I can relate it most to is the 4th Fast and Furious, in terms of like the coolness of the colors and like the kind of, I don't know, the kind of tone and all that. It kind of like that, and like that being like, it's just being like a mid 2000s kind of pace. I mean, I guess Fast and Furious 4 is a bit later than that, maybe late 2000s, but like, I don't know. It's such an identifiable style for the period, and it's one I love to see. And I just think that like Abrams being like a champion of it, I think you can see it a bit in his 2009 Star Trek as well, a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So this came before Fast 4.
Yeah, I think Fast 4 might be like 2007 or 8.
Oh, so pretty close. Okay, all right. Yeah, but this. Yeah, I totally agree. This does have a 2000s feel. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it is. I guess in a way, like when I sort of opened with saying that this film lacks a certain source that the later ones have, I think that's true. But I think it's also cool to like all these things we're shouting out right now are things that are distinct to this film that I'm glad that it brings to it.
Do you think that with the introduction of Benji, he was meant to stick around, or do you reckon he was like that came after?
Well, so this has got to be the start of the JJ Simon Pegg collaboration, right? I imagine. I don't know if he wasn't in Lost or anything. I don't think so. Yeah. No. So like obviously they just got along on the set of this. Wait, what was your question? Sorry, I just
was Benji meant to be an addition that becomes permanent? Do you think?
I don't reckon. Well, I reckon as is the case as we've seen with this franchise, like
with nearly everyone apart from Ving,
every character's on the chopping block every time, kind of thing. Yeah. Where it's like they reset every time. Oh, until like more recently, but like at this time, it was like every time it's like a reset of like we'll choose to bring some people back if we want, but like at the end of the day, we're not that fussed, kind of a thing. So yeah, I think they obviously whatever they developed Ghost Protocol, and they thought, oh yeah, why not? Sure. And then from there, I think he was he was locked in from there, kind of thing. But I don't think he was guaranteed to stick around after just this. No. He didn't really do enough in the film to like make him feel significant to be amazing. Like, he could very well have just been any other side character that never comes back. You know what I mean?
Mr. Popular. Okay.
Is he getting a call from like Lawrence Fishburne or whatever? Morpheus. Do you want to say one of the other actors you might have got it mixed up with that you didn't want to say?
No, that's the whole point of saying Morpheus. What do you mean, dude?
Oh, sorry, my bad. I do love Lawrence Fishburne though in this film. I must say, he's just I don't know. Lawrence Fishburne's just an easy win for me. I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Him as a red herring villain is also great because like he very much you could very easily see him as the villain. So then when it's like he's the villain, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then you realize he's not. It's like, oh, that also makes sense. You know, it just kind of works. Here's some funny lines too when he says, don't interrupt me when I'm asking rhetorical questions. He throws a few funny lines in there.
That's good.
He has that sort of smart ass director feel to him, which I like for sure.
He once again, he just feels like a Greengrass character. You know, his ult bleed in the flag to get the stripes red. I mean, fuck. All right, Mr. Green Zone.
Mr. Green Zone, yeah. That is a cool line though. I like that line. That's exactly what it is though. I didn't really mean to get away from the action so quickly, but the other night scene I assume we were talking about earlier is like the Shanghai one. Towards the end. This one's probably the weakest for me in the movie. I mean, not that I needed to see Ethan infiltrate. I think I forget it every time because you don't actually see him get the rabbit's foot. Like you sort of just cut away to the team and then he just jumps out of the building with it, which is like fine. Like, I don't know, like otherwise it might have felt similar to 2 when he also infiltrates that building for like the weapon, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So like maybe that would feel a bit similar, but yeah, I think that's probably what makes it forgettable. And then he jumps out and they sort of just get into a car chase, which was, it was fine, but
it just feels like it breaks series conventions. Like
this particular scene.
Yeah. As being like the big setup. I guess the Vatican kind of is the one that is like the big infiltrate scene.
Yes.
But even that feels, I don't know, kind of a bit underhanded compared to like other previous ones, like Langley or even the one from 2. So like I just feel like between like our 2 like infiltration scenes of this film, it just feels like it kind of turns us back on like the series like style a little bit. Which I think you're probably right. They probably thought it would be a bit boring if they do the same thing again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. And they used the time to like give it to the other team member characters who like never come back also. So again, who were like
what was
fine.
that? That was really weird. Like they were setting up some deep conversation and they're like we cut off halfway through and then I don't know. It was just odd.
Yeah, I think it was just there. I think the film had to have a crack at, giving them something.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't really. Yeah, they didn't add a whole lot.
No.
Yeah.
There was that one Irish guy. I thought you'd be a fan of him, but other than
Declan. Oh yeah. I mean, he was fun, I guess, but.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maggie Q didn't do much really.
No, not at all. Yeah, so that's how I feel about the Shanghai scene, but I do. So I guess that's kind of the one that's fine, but I do really like the bridge attack scene though. I think that's really
cool. That's class. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you agree? Yeah. Yeah, I think there's something about like maybe the fact that it comes so quick in the story, like you were talking about earlier, like helps it. It feels very surprising, very abrupt, very frantic, very practical with all the explosions and shit. I really like the shot where like Tom's running towards the camera and then that missile hits the car behind him and he gets flung into the vehicle next to him. That was a really cool shot.
Yeah. But see, I thought that when when Davian goes into the van, like I thought all the people going in him were his people, but like they're like the people come from the chopper. So I don't where like did they kill the people inside the van? Because I feel like once they get to the van, Davian's just there, and they don't have to like, you know, they don't have to rid of the people who are like trying to keep him there.
There was yeah.
Because he goes in with like a bunch of guys.
He does. I remember. So I do recall that like the chopper sprayed the shit out of the van and like killed the drivers. I recall that.
Yeah, but then
so
the back part would surely be like
yeah,
or whatever.
And they pay like special attention to it, the fact that he goes in with all these guys.
Mm.
But then they don't really do anything with that.
Yeah, that's That's a good point. Actually, that is kind of weird. Yeah,
I mean,
at
that point, it's Crudup pulling the strings rather than Davian's like orchestrating his own escape, right?
I think yes, I think so.
But the fact like Davian he gives a look to Ethan when he goes into the van, so it's like he knows, you know.
Do you reckon it would be more like he just assumes that there's no way bloody what's his name Musgrave is gonna let me actually get imprisoned? You know what I mean? Like he not that he actually knows like when he's about to be freed or whatever, but like he just assumes.
Yeah,
because I've got the guy at the top. Like this isn't really gonna happen. Like, yeah, still a really cool scene though. I think.
Yeah, I like the shot of like the guy at the chopper rides from the background, and Nathan just looks at all the guys and just like,
yeah, and then that sick like armor, whatever that is.
Yeah, the fully black armor.
Yeah, that's just cool. There's no two ways about it. That's just cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. That's a really cool. When we sort of touched on at the start, this film has a lot of really good scenes. It does, and like there's still some we haven't even mentioned yet. Like, I enjoy the Vatican infiltration as well. My favorite part of it is definitely the bathroom scene with the the voice modulation, trying to get that right and it not kicking in time. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that. I know. I always remember that one for some reason. And I also love like the split second where like, obviously he's coughing, like really dragging it on. And then I love the split second like when he speaks, and it's Tom Cruise for like it's like Tom Cruise for 2 frames, and then Philip Seymour Hoffman's voice kicks in like he just made it. You know, that was just a cool detail. I always like that. Close calls like that in a bathroom. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong. Good tension.
But I mean, like, was the freaking bodyguard really suspecting that he was a guy with a mask? You know, like
no, he was just going to come in and check on him. You know.
Yeah, but he was getting suspicious of like what was happening. You know,
it was kind of weird. Don't you reckon?
Yeah. Like it's.
I think it was enough for like the way he was bloody not responding and then started coughing frantically. You'd be like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is this guy in a mask? Is this?
No, I don't think he actually got
has he been poisoned? Is probably more.
Yeah. You'd think something like, what the fuck? Yeah. I don't know if he had any specific.
Has he been poisoned? I got to check behind the door just to see if there's 2 people.
He wasn't checking behind the door.
He didn't check behind the door.
He just walked in.
I know, but that's the intent. That's the implication is that he's going to look behind the door. They're going to be found out. You know?
No, I think it was more like he was just. He was
just coming in closer to like just check on him, like, you know. It was like
if he came any closer, then he would have seen them sort of just by turning around.
Yeah, behind the door. That's what I'm saying. What do you mean? They would. That's what the stakes of the scene is that he's going to look behind him, behind the fucking door. What do you mean? Like,
yeah, but you're making it sound like he has motivation to, or something that doesn't make any sense. That's what you're saying.
That's not his intent for the scene. It's just it's a coincidence. It's like a
yeah. But he looked around of him.
He looked around the room. He checked the room before he got in. That's bodyguard instincts to like look around places, you know. So like the implication is that if he thinks something's suspicious, he's gonna fucking meerkat around the room and he's gonna find the infiltration, you know.
So hang on, wait. So are you saying that he should have? It's crap that he didn't see them. That he should have looked harder.
No, I'm not saying it's crap that he didn't see them. I'm just saying it's just weird. Okay, the whole thing's just weird. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
It's like, oh, he's gonna look behind the door because the guy's coughing. It's like, what?
But he was. But that's the thing. He wasn't intentionally going to look behind the door for any specific reason.
But I feel okay. But that's what the scene's implying. That's why it's weird. Like.
It's not what the scene's implying.
What's the scene implying then? What do you mean?
He's just gonna come in to check on him further and like speak to him like not from a fucking 6 meters away. He just wants to get closer and like have a check on him. And then when he turns around to leave, he'll see them behind the door.
I mean, okay. I guess so. It's the same thing.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie,
like,
Fitzy.
Whatever.
Unbelievable. Ruined it. Totally killed it. Oh, man. Surely we got to appreciate, though, the smooth as fuck transition to Ethan wearing Philip Seymour Hoffman's face. When they, like, put that, like, they created the mask, which is kind of cool. Then he puts that flappy ass, like, clearly just put this flappy ass fucking real mask on. And then they start, like, it's like, isn't it like Luther's, like, meant to be, like, patting it down or whatever to, like, start fitting it. And then they do the shot where the camera comes behind Luther. And you think they're going to do that. This is genius, actually. You think they're going to do the thing where it's like, oh, it comes behind him. And then when the camera appears on the other side, it's Philip Seymour Hoffman. And it's like, oh, they did the little trick. Good for them. But they don't. The camera comes behind him and it's still Tom Cruise just wearing this Philip Seymour Hoffman plastic thing. And then seamlessly in the scene, they CG transition it to Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's like they were showing off. It's like, you thought we were going to do a cheap trick where we go behind the back. But nah. We thought we set you up to do the trick, didn't do the trick, and then did a cool CG transition.
Yeah.
I can't really speak to it. I didn't really notice it.
No one else was impressed by this. Wow.
I didn't notice it, yeah.
Dude, they in camera seamlessly CG'd, like transitioned the shots, and it looked flawless. Go back, everyone listening, go back and rewatch this. It's bloody good. I'm telling you. It's smooth. They nailed it. Any other characters? Oh no, we kind of talked about. Yeah, we talked about the team and shit. Aaron Paul was in this movie, which was weird as fuck. But there he was.
Eddie Mars
was there
as the evil German character.
Yeah. Dude, he's in like. I swear to God, he's in like every second thing I watch now. It's weird. It's actually weird. Can he like stop appearing in things? It's kind of disturbing. The trivia I had for him was that he was originally in the opening. He was meant to be the one doing the counting. Like, Philip, you know what I mean? Like, they were going to keep dialoguing and that he was going to be in the background going 1, 2, or whatever. But then they changed it because JJ realized if Philip does it, it's way more intimidating, and he was correct. What do I got for trivia? As the production could do nothing about inquisitive crowds watching them while they were filming in Rome, they actually set up a phony second unit a little further away, hired several girls in bikinis and several older women dressed as nuns, and pretended to be filming, while the main unit got on with their business largely undisturbed.
How do you feel just on that scene as well? Like, Cruise dead-eyeing the camera and saying Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall.
That was weird. That was like at first I thought he was breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah,
but like no, it was just a code word.
Yeah,
for the fact he succeeded. But like in the first second, I was like, "What the fuck?" But I was like, "Oh, that's all right."
I guess like the Shanghai chase kind of gives a taste of what Benji's role will be later.
Oh yeah, he's just the guy giving directions at his ear. Yeah, that's true. Oh, actually, thanks for bringing that up. I really like that location. I think it's really cool. It's another one of the images that comes to mind. Like when I think of the film, I think of that sort of traditional looking Chinese neighborhood that Tom Cruise gets to fucking sprint through. I think that's really cool. And there's a couple of really cool running shots with him. I don't know if they were like crane shots or whatever, but you know the one where it's like he's like running side sort of along the river? And it looks like they have like I don't know if it was on a boat or what it was, if they had the crane on the other side. I don't know what it was, but it was really cool. I like that a lot. And something about Yeah, I know this film's just got cool sets as well. I think cool. Like, I mean, that's obviously a location, cool location there, but I really liked like his that home set. Ethan Hunt's home. I liked the like the sort of CIA. I don't know what it is, the IMF, whatever it is, like the goddamn agency sort of blue ass looking glass looking set that they had there for the main HQ building. I thought that was cool. And Giacchino's score was great. Actually, I'll say that it was rocking. It felt like this is where musically, like this is the foundation that then is built on in later ones. Because I don't know, does Giacchino stick around? Obviously, he ends up going to Lorne, but I don't know when.
I don't think he does 4. No,
He doesn't do 4? Okay. Does Lorne do 4? He goes, I don't know.
No, I think someone else does. I think Lorne comes on for 5, doesn't he?
Okay, all right. Yeah. Cool. But yeah, I thought the score was great too. Let's get to our final verdicts for Mission Impossible 3. Fitzy.
It should be a 7, but I'll give it a 6 this time. I was slightly less. Sorry, bro. I was slightly less enthused than other viewings.
Is that because I convinced you that Ethan Hunt slept with Lindsay?
Yeah, the conversation derailed a bit. I mean, we all have our misinterpretations, you know. You misinterpreted that scene, I misinterpreted the bodyguard scene. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, sorry. So Giacchino does stick around for 4, and then Kramer comes in for 5, and then Bolf only comes in for 6 and 7.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, okay, that's cool. I'm happy with that. I must say, I just obviously Ramin Djawadi. This is totally off topic, sorry, but Ramin Djawadi is one of my favorite composers, and I realized I've been saying his name wrong for like 10 years or whatever. Like it's Ramin Djawadi. Is how you say
Oh,
his
really?
name. Yeah. It's like that actually makes perfect sense. But I guess I would think Ramin would be a double E, but fuck. I'm a white guy. That's just what I think. What do I know? All right. I will give this film a See, I was basically my intro, everything I'm coming in, I'm giving this a strong 7. I'll give it a very strong 7. I feel like I've been talking about it like it's an 8, to be honest, because I do appreciate a lot about it. Overall, as an experience, you can't go wrong, but I think it's a very strong 7, Jaden.
Yeah, I think on my first watch I gave this film an 8, but I think last time I dropped it down to 7. I think it stays there for me.
Yeah.
I think it's just a very, very competent mid-2000s action film.
Yep.
Yeah, many great scenes. You know.
Yeah, it's like the film I've seen with like the most 8s, most things in it that are 8 that just doesn't quite calculate to a set like to an 8. I don't know. It's very odd. Let's get into news chat. A couple of big stories here. Jaden, you didn't know about this news, so what's your raw take on John Lithgow? He's in. So the report is, I think, from Deadline. Let me get this right. Deadline reported that he's in the final stages of negotiations to play Dumbledore in this series.
I think it's pretty bad. I think it's it repulses me. I said ill at the start.
It repulses you.
That is like the most genuine reaction I can give is just ill. I mean, how old is Lithgow anyway? Is he going to die?
He's 79.
Is he
I looked this up too.
And I was like,
but I don't know. Like, what when you're casting a character like that, it's like, what do you do? You know what I mean?
You cast a 50-year-old and put him in a shit ton of makeup.
I don't know. I feel like you do want an older presence. I do.
Yeah. I mean, how old was Gambler when he took on the role? He wouldn't be that old.
He would have been 70, I'm guessing.
You reckon? Okay.
Yeah, which is still 10 years younger than Lithgow. Yeah.
No, I don't like this at all. Harry Potter should stay American. British.
Yeah, I know.
But have any of these casting rumors actually been true? Like we had that thing a couple months ago about Snape.
Well, they haven't officially said anything about this show. So I mean, no, other than it's happening. So like, this stuff will come out in the next few months. I imagine as being true.
Yeah, and let's hope this one's fake. But sure.
Jaden, you don't realize that John Lithgow can do a British accent, do you? Because he's done it before.
I don't know. Like, I just think that, like, keep it as a British production, like, just entirely, you know.
Oh, so like the fact they're even casting an American.
Yeah, kind of. Like, I get that people can do accents. I don't know if I've seen Lithgow doing it. Like, maybe I
He
haven't.
played Churchill in The Crown,
Did he? Uh,
and it's very good, I must say.
I just still can't imagine Lithgow as Dumbledore as well. You know,
Okay.
I can see him as a Richard Harris Dumbledore, maybe, I guess, but I can't really see him as a Gambon Dumbledore.
Really? I think. See, that's the thing. I think. Oh my god. Okay. First of all, I don't know how we've got to this point with this stupid Harry Potter show, where it's like Jade and I are somehow on the complete opposite, where he is down to see it but hates every decision they're making. I have no interest in seeing and hate they're doing it, but actually like these decisions they're making. Because I think this is good. I think this is a sound choice. Dude, Lithgow can be grandpa and can be sinister and kind of like take you back with his kind of prickishness on a dime. Like that's what that's the skill he has as an actor. That's like if you want to cast anyone, that's him. I feel like he can nail it.
Yeah, he did kind of prove that in Conclave. That was kind of what he did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think he can be really nice and gentle, and I think when he needs to later, he can switch it on for sure. He can become cold. So again, got no interest in seeing this show. God, I really hate they're doing it, but I'm like, I actually think this is not a bad choice if you're doing this, to be honest. But it's obviously pretty big. It's a big deal. And, you're bringing up his age as being 79. That's not.
And given that it takes 3 years to produce a single season these days.
Well, so yeah, I read in this article that apparently, I don't know where this particular little tidbit came from, but like the show, in their minds, the show's running for 10 years. Like that's how long they expect the whole thing to take. So he's going to be 89 by the time it finishes, which obviously is up there, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a tricky thing. We'll see. Praying for John's health, of course. He seems fine. So, but yeah. Anyway, I once again will not watch this shit, but good for them for making this, for casting everyone. Okay. Other piece of news we had was that Amazon has purchased the film rights to 007, James Bond outright. The Broccolis, nah, get out of here. They're done. I'm sure they got a boatload of cash, so I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they were happy with making this deal. But yeah.
Do you think Bezos would do you think Bezos or people like that would ever just do that kind of thing for fun? Like not for any strategic kind of maneuver, but just like, I want to buy Bond,
I don't think so. I think anyone who gets to Bezos' level doesn't do shit like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably right.
I think this deal's been in the works for a long time, with obviously when Amazon purchased it. MGM's long been the Bond studio. Amazon purchased MGM. Wasn't that in like 2021, I want to say, or 2020?
Yeah, it was quite a while ago now.
Yeah, they made that purchase. I think this deal sort of, it was in the cards. It was, the stars were aligning for it from then. Because keep in mind also, like No Time to Die came out in 2021, but it was completed in 2019. So like at that stage, like they had wrapped Daniel Craig, that last film, and then were just sitting on it for a few years. But really, nothing's happened since 2019 with this franchise. You know what I mean? And so since then, the acquisition, and I think they've had a lot of time to talk through, this coming to fruition. And Jen, like we mentioned earlier, like I think this is a big part of why there's been a delay in what they're going to do next. So yeah, we'll see what they're going to do next. I don't know. I think an obvious direction they could go. I know Amazon loves their spin-off shows and shit. Like, are we going to end up in 5 years with like 3 Prime Video Bond spin-offs? Like, how do they not take this opportunity of a reset of a new actor to sort of build a universe, so to speak?
I mean,
I think it's the most obvious thing to do. It's like the perfect chance to do it, and you've just taken full creative control.
Who would you do it with? Like some of the Bond girls or something?
Well, no. So I think you'd start fresh, start with a new film with a new actor, and then from there, like within this film, like you'd start, I don't know, introduce like whatever other side characters you have, whatever other like world building you choose to do in this new Bond universe.
Who was the
And,
actress that took on
go from
007 in No Time to Die?
That was
Yeah, I was thinking that would be.
Shana Lynch.
I could see that, like her getting a spin-off show if they wanted to jump straight into it. I guess.
Yeah. I don't know how they do that with like the continuity or whatever, but like so whether or not it's her, I don't know, but definitely could be, and I think that's the kind of thing they would do. I guess is what I mean.
Yeah, I think it's a bad kind of idea. I think we've kind of seen Amazon trying to push these shows, particularly with the Continental, and it kind of just goes.
Well, that wasn't them. Just keep in mind, but
wasn't it?
No,
That
Prime,
was.
It's on Prime here, but it was just a licensing. Then, like, it's Stars made it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think it works well for Bond. Like, what are you going to do with what spin-off shows are you going to do? There's plenty of spy kind of products that exist.
I
don't really see the market for a universe of Bond.
I see your point. I somewhat disagree. I guess it depends how far they take it, right? Because I think I agree. I'm not really interested in seeing like 4 projects per year on this thing.
Like, I think
it
part
doesn't
of
go
the
in that
Bond
hard.
charm and that makes it like it's a spectacle is that it comes every 4 or 5 years. Like, I remember when Skyfall came out, I don't know if I'm in grade 5, but like I was like, oh my god, it was like a new James Bond film. That's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
and how they treat
I didn't know what James Bond was back then, but it's like not I'm saying that time like makes something like precious, but it's just I think it's going to be like one of the most oversaturated. Like it'll be one of the quickest examples of oversaturation we'll see like just occur.
I think that's definitely a strong risk, yeah, and I agree with that. But I think so I guess I think it comes purely down to how they do it. I think if they fall into the oversaturation, if they get a bit carried away, I think that's risky for sure. I think if they continue to treat the main films as prestige products that release every 4-ish years, if you want to say, and then from there, like they introduce a couple of cool characters and they have like 1 or 2 shows that people are excited about. I think that's
what
fine.
cool characters do you introduce within the Bond universe?
I just don't see. You can do literally anything.
I just don't see how you can work that in seamlessly into a film that they're like, oh, he's going to wink at the camera, and then because we know that he's going to go with the spin-off show now.
I disagree. Like, look at the Penguin. I think that there's easy potential for things like that.
But that's the Penguin. That's a comic book character. Like, what you're gonna fucking adapt a Q TV show? Like, what do you mean? Like,
yeah, like obviously TV show. No, but like what you were saying with Shana Lynch, like these other, or like imagine like an Anna de Armas character equivalent or whatever.
You guys were interested in like the Day of the Jackal series, though, weren't you?
Yeah.
Like that's the Shana Lynch. That's kind of proof of exactly what they would.
Like you do original projects like that are just in the universe. You know what I mean?
But then that's the example. Like products like that exist. I don't need it to be attached to a Bond. I don't need it to be attached to a 007 IP.
Yeah.
I think that's just going to create so much wear, given because you're talking about like keep the products every 4 years in high class, or whatever. But having something in between is I just think it's going to deteriorate that kind of thing. I don't know.
Okay. No, I hear you. I again, I think it all comes down to how they do it. I think if they have, those blockbuster films every 4 years, treat them with the respect, that Warner Brothers does with Matt Reeves and his Batman, and then they have a Penguin thrown in there, kind of a thing. I think that can work. I think we get in trouble if they start if the films their cadence becomes too much and they extend beyond their reach with how many projects they decide to greenlight. I think that's risky. But
once again, at the same time, I also don't think that there needs to be a 4-year gap between films as long as they remain high quality. I mean, once upon a time, we're getting these pretty regularly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah.
Oh, so like I think if you did do this, like Felix would be one of the obvious choices, right? And apparently he's like a recurring character. He's like
you mean Jeffrey Wright?
Yeah, but it's still just Jeffrey. Yeah. He's like
you do a US spin-off. Well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You deal with like whatever the US thing is going on in that world, and maybe it's, this is me totally making this up, but like, I don't know, you deal with some villain or some organization that you're setting up as Spectre. But you know what I mean? But you deal with like certain villains that you set up in one of the other films or whatever.
Yeah, but apparently he's been played by like 9 different actors. He's like Bond's like recurring friend. So that would be like the obvious choice. Plus you have all the material for him in the books.
Yeah.
It's like you have all this lore.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really. If you're Amazon and you just bought this, I think this is why you do it. You know what I mean? I don't think you do it. I don't think you do this just to keep doing what they were already doing.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. Like they'll expand it, but I just think it's going to kill a franchise.
It very well might. It very well might. We'll see.
Well, did people actually watch No Time to Die? Did that get good?
Do people see that shit? Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like people talk about it much now, to be honest.
I got box office.
It suffered from like the whole black woman James Bond thing, and like how they killed James Bond, and like it was. Well, sorry. But like I think people took a lot of like the surface value things and then like spun it as like a woke thing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
I don't know how many people. Yeah, but is that? I don't know. That sounds. How big is the rage bait audience? I guess I don't know. But
yeah,
we'll see. So yeah, I guess, but it's also worth keeping in mind. I don't know if this changes. No, I don't want to like dive deep into this part of the conversation, but like this has to change at least a little bit the perspective of who they could cast as Bond, because it's the first time that like a new, you know what I mean? It's new people choosing. Like it's not the Broccoli's have always chosen who plays Bond, and so it's sort of like I'm saying that there's no prior logic that you necessarily look to of like, oh, well, they've always done this. It's like, well, there's new people in charge now. Like, well, what do they want to do? I think they play it safe still. I don't think they're going too crazy.
Give him a British accent, apparently, is what the trend is these days.
John Lithgow is James Bond. Maybe. We can get to our highlights of the week. Fitzy, what have you been watching?
Not much. I guess my highlight is The White Lotus, episode 1.
You've seen it? Oh, I'm waiting for more episodes to come out, personally.
Oh, that's smart, dude. I can't believe I have to wait.
Oh,
a freaking week, dude.
I'm glad that you're excited about it, though.
Oh yeah. No, it's very good, very good. Cast set up so far. Kind of. I don't know if they have fewer characters. It kind of seems like they have fewer characters this season, but yeah, it's same kind of thing. Quirky, rich people. Undisclosed motives, lingering, tragedy, all that shit. So seems good. Seems fun. Parker Posey's really funny. She's got a southern accent, so I'm very happy that's occurring. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's not much. There's not much different to other seasons so far. But
they can turn Mike White can turn that on its head if he wants at any time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about season 2. I think season 2 was amazing compared to season 1, but I'm not sure what they did differently exactly. I just think it was just like a writing quality increase. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like he writes, directs, and edits every episode himself, which is like crazy. But did you? Oh, okay. Just answer me this: does it have a new remixed version of the theme?
Yeah. I don't like it as much as like season 2.
The season 2 one. Okay,
it's it's a bit like less. It's less exciting. I guess it's more bassy or more just not. I don't know. It doesn't hit as hard. But
season 2 bops. That one bops.
Oh yeah, that was the thing. Yeah. Yeah, Jason Isaacs is really good. That's exciting.
Oh yes.
One of the main characters.
Nice. You're getting me excited, man. I'm excited. I'll jump in probably in a few weeks. I'm excited.
Yeah, it feels good to be excited about a TV show again, because it's been a while for me.
Sure. It's been dark out there in the land of TV. Very nice. I wrapped up Squid Game 2. I don't. Did you guys hear anything about like reception to it, ending, things like that? Because like it had a very, it was a very cliffhanger ending, no doubt. But
Is number 3 coming like in June or something like that? Is that right?
correct. Season 3 is coming in
Yeah,
June.
I heard about that, and so like that.
Yeah.
Like, made me aware that like there was like more, like that. It made me aware that like that ended in like a weird place. That if there's more to come so soon.
Correct. Yeah. So I assume they shot them back to back, and I think 3's meant to be the last one. So I think they sort of, had a whole narrative vision of, after season 1, and then we can do 2 more and have a cliffhanger ending for 2, which they did. I enjoyed it a lot. I think the show's really clever. The way in which it subverts your expectations of thinking you're going back into the Squid Game and then plays with that is very clever, and which is like part. It's the case for the audience, but also part of the what's his name song. I think is Lee Jung Jae's character's name. I think he like it's part of that too, because like he knows, he's obviously, his whole thing is that he's going back in and he's trying to like tell everyone how it works, and so he can kind of cheat it with them and like help save everyone. But then they start messing with that too, and it's like, yeah, it's clever. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. There's like one subplot that was kind of weird, didn't really work for me, but I'm hoping that season 3 will fix that. And knowing it's coming very soon is nice. So yeah, I think overall I think quality wise it's equal to season 1. I think overall I enjoyed it more than season 1 because I enjoyed the way they were subverting expectations, like I said. I enjoyed the games more. I think season 1 was just a bit long. I think season 1, and so it's 2 episodes shorter.
Oh, is it?
And
that's nice.
Yeah. And I think season 1 had some of those games that I thought were kind of lame and kind of long episodes. Like season 2, like the games are solid. The new games they add are really cool. And it's just 2 less episodes. It goes quicker. So I think I probably like it a bit more for that. But I think it's overall pretty on par if you're a fan of season 1. So yes, Jaden, what have you been watching?
I'm gonna quickly mention 2 things. I finally watched The Substance.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to get through the Oscars, Best Pictures at the very least. It was fine. I think people are gonna say, "Oh man, didn't get it." I get it. It's fine. I just think it's a bit boring. It was, it's a solid 6 out of 10. I hope that Coralie still wins Best Director just because of what it will be for like the genre. I think it'll find it. I think this film's like huge steps for horror finally being accepted on like, all awards circuits and whatever. So like, I hope she kind of wins it for that and it kind of sets a precedent. That'd be nice. But the film in all, it's long and it's just, the gimmick gets, it's like, we get it. We get what's going on. It doesn't need to be 2 hours and 20 minutes. You're not going to like it at all, Zach. I will say that.
Thank you. Because I've had this back and forth of like, well, a little bit of back and forth where like I thought it wasn't for me at all. Didn't want to see it in the cinema. Then it came to Stan, and I'm like, oh well, there's no harm. I may as well give it a shot. Yeah. And then now you've gone back the other way on me. So.
Yeah. No, like it's. I just don't think you get past the body horror of it.
That's what I thought originally. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'd be a bit much for you. We get it. And then I watched Scott Derrickson's The Gorge this week as well. I love Scott Derrickson so much. I think he's a fantastic director. I love Deliver Us from Evil, and I love Sinister. I'll sing their praises, every day of the week. I think Black Phone's a really solid film as well, although Liam will disagree with that one. And Doctor Strange is a fine Marvel film as well. So like Derrickson has been proven to me again and again that I love his products. And I didn't realize that The Gorge was originally one of his products until I saw his name at the end.
Oh shit!
So I was like, dude, I'm vibing with this so much. Like, this is fantastic. And then his name was I was like, it makes so much sense.
It makes sense.
I love this film so much. It is so fun. I think Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy are they're great performances, and like the characters are so fun to watch. It is such a brilliant romance that kind of builds in like, in the first half of the film, really, it like spends building the romance of it. And it builds it fantastically, and it kind of makes the rest of the film work and believable. The action's solid. The premise is fun. It looks pretty good. I I just think like everything. I just think Derrickson makes films for me, and like I just think that this film's like the greatest kind of example of it. There's a brilliant needle drop with the years in it. It's just such a nice film. Yeah, it's just a great film. Yeah, I love it. Scott Derrickson, please contact me.
We'll interview him. We should.
Yeah.
Does that? Okay. Is this my kind of film?
Yeah, I think you could get like a 6 or a 7 out of it. It's a really cool concept as well. Like I think like it probably sets it up to be a bit more mysterious at the start than what it ends up being, because like you kind of uncover quite early what's going on. Not fully what's going on, but like it drops like the whole mystery of like. I mean, I don't really want to talk. I think it sets it up to be like a bit more like highbrow, mysterious at the start before it like kind of devolves into like kind of action horror-ish type of things. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I do want to check it out. I feel like I'm still like on the 2024 train. It feels early to watch a 2025 film, but
the film became Apple's biggest film launch.
Nice. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Now it comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what's your favourite screen location you've been to in real life? Great question, by the way. Was this sparked by the you having been to places in Perfect Days?
Fuck, wait, what film did we just do? Oh no, sorry. No, it was to do with Spooky having said at the start of like before we started recording last week. He mentioned like we were talking about like we're doing Mission Impossible 3 and he's like, oh yeah, I think I've been to Shanghai, to like that part of Shanghai. That's what sparked it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fitting because Dr. Luke says, I'm pretty sure I've been to that place in Shanghai from Mission Impossible 3, which is a really cool place. I've also been to Universal Studios, but I don't think that counts. Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't know. They shot shitloads of stuff there, right? So, I guess. Oh, well, I guess I see what he's saying. If it's like on screen,
yeah.
On screen, yeah. Yeah, I guess it's a bit tricky. But yeah, okay. I don't like how he's not 100% sure.
Oh, like
I'll take his word for it.
Like every time he mentions it, I think we go over this over. It's like, yeah, it's like this part of that part, but maybe not. I think last week we boiled it down to like it's like an almost like
Sure.
guarantee.
Okay. Well, if we can say, well, he went to Shanghai and it looked like it resembled that enough. Clearly.
Yeah.
So Shanghai is like, okay, that's fine. Paul says, Alcatraz Island in San Francisco. When I was younger, I was intrigued as to the supposed escape from Alcatraz across San Francisco Bay. Having been on shore and on the island, my conclusion is that it can't be done. While 2 kilometres is not a huge swim, the escapees did it at night and amongst some nasty currents and sea creatures such as sharks. That's a great location, for sure. I must say, yeah. I mean, that's such an interesting one. The whole Alcatraz. Did you go to Alcatraz, Fitzy? You been there?
No, I didn't go to San Francisco. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't disagree with Paul. I don't, in terms of his assessment there. But it's when you're standing there, it's such a tricky thing to try and figure out, in my opinion. Because it's like, yeah, I know all the currents and all those factors are against them, but I think it's more so just the fact that they never heard from them again. Like there was no trace is probably more what reveals to me that they didn't get away. You know what I mean? But
then,
anyway,
like if they didn't get away, wouldn't you find bodies or something? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Well, I guess the idea is they could just be at the bottom of they would have sunk. They drowned. They they wouldn't be whole eaten by a shark, I guess.
Bodies don't really sink unless like they're like weighted down.
Well, if you drain, you sink, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but like I don't know.
Yeah,
my perception is that bodies pop up. Don't they?
Yeah.
It's really curse when you just like eventually be like pushed into the freaking beach.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah,
and like surely like it being such a like surely like enough like fanboys have like done their like thorough exploration of the bay.
Oh yeah. This thing, 100%. It's just very weird. I don't know. The whole thing is very weird. It's something. Look, if they got away, they absolutely nailed it in terms of nothing going wrong. Because
didn't this happen in like the 60s or 70s? Like in the
60s, yeah.
Easy shit back then. No cameras.
Oh,
No fingerprints, you know.
yeah, I mean, it was definitely easier. I don't know. I feel like saying easy as shit is a bit. I would still be thoroughly impressed.
No digital footprint to track you. No credit cards. You know, cash.
Yeah, there's this whole thing when you go there of like at the time, like 20 years later, someone found a letter. Oh no, it was more than 20 years. It was like 40 years later, I think. Of like someone found a letter supposedly written by one of them, like after they died.
Oh.
Of like, oh, you know, I don't know, it was like something that like revealed information that like it could be them, like they changed their name or whatever. But then that was, no one knows if that's actually a real thing or if someone made that up, like if that's a fake letter. So that's a whole other thing. But yeah, anyway, that's a great location. Leanne said, in terms of favourite screen locations, there are a few favourites with different levels of engagement. One is the full movie set. I really enjoyed touring Hobbiton in New Zealand. While it was very much an artificial location, it was terrific to explore the place and admire the way the operators had absolutely monetized the entire tourist experience. The stories about how the set was chosen are also interesting. That sounds great. I'd love to go there. That's a banger. At another level of engagement, I enjoy going to a place and then finding out I love this word, but I can't say it. Serendipitously. Oh yeah, that the area has been part of a movie. This happened when in Clunes. Clunes. I don't know where that is. A number of movies have been filmed there, including Ned Kelly with Heath Ledger. The same thing happened when in Istanbul, we stayed at the Legacy Ottoman Hotel, then later discovered that it was used for quite a few scenes in Taken 2 with Liam Neeson. Oh, nice. That's great. However, my most enjoyable connection with a movie or set is when I have played a very small part in making it all come together. For example, I sold a Ken Dunn bag from the... Ken Dunn? I don't know. A bag from the 1980s, which ended up getting quite a few seconds of fame on screen in a mini-series about Olivia Newton-John. I also sold an orange toothbrush from the 1960s, which was part of a movie where Daniel Radcliffe escapes from a prison cell using my famous toothbrush. What?
Oh, really? I don't know.
That's insane. I've sold... That blew my mind. I've sold a few other items which also ended up in movies, usually vintage or rare things. Sometimes you get to see the final result, sometimes you don't. That's insane.
Oh, is that Escape from Pretoria? Is that the one?
I guess. I have heard of that film.
Didn't you watch that? Or didn't you say shit? No.
I have not seen it, but I've heard of it. That's...
Did you watch something with a similar title? Or similar premise?
I've seen an
TV
Escape...
show?
Yeah. I've seen a film with... what's his face? Wait, hang on. Is that the one I've seen?
With Dane DeHaan? Maybe. No?
I've seen the one with Dane DeHaan and what's his face? Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, what was that called?
I don't know, but I don't think Daniel Radcliffe was in that. I think this is different. Unless... I don't know. Anyway. That's... Okay, Leanne... I don't know if Leanne can be topped there. She's got items that she sold in the movie.
Yeah.
Multiple times. I can't beat that shit. That's crazy. Thank you, Leanne. That's very cool. Oh, God. And now I've got to read Andy's. Oh, my God. Okay. Sorry, Andy. Sorry. Andy said, very excited. Andy said, the only countries/state I've ever stepped in my entire life were Victoria and Vietnam. And considering that I've not watched a Vietnamese film or nothing, to be honest, that showcases any locations I've been to, I'm only restricted to Geelong or Melbourne. While Melbourne just seems too basic to pick out interesting locations, a Jackie Chan flick called Mr. Nice Guy, Jaden would probably understand the importance of the film's nostalgic way of capturing the city, made me appreciate certain areas around Melbourne that you would never imagine being filmed for Hong Kong cinema, Hollywood, or exposed to Jackie Chan fans all over the world. This was exactly what this was actually made before he began his Hollywood career for Rush Hour. Jaden, have you seen this film?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. Did you watch it because it was Melbourne?
No, it used to be on TV show on TV all the time.
Really? And it was like one of those things later where it's like, oh, it's in Melbourne.
No. I knew it was in Melbourne. Like that was.
It's obviously in Melbourne if you watch it.
Oh yeah. Like he walks down Brunswick and shit like that. I'm actually like, and like it's the Melbourne Central Tower. Like it's all the things that Andy mentions. Like it is Melbourne. Yeah.
That's really cool. I've never heard of it.
Like it's literally set in Melbourne as well. It's not like they try and say it's another city.
Yeah. That's really cool. Okay, so therefore my favourite screen location I've been to many times is Melbourne Central, as they shot a vital scene that began on the ground floor. South Bank River is also very nice because Jada and I walked past it in order to get to the NGV. It's where Jackie jumped off the bridge and grabbed onto a crane. William Street is also a pretty significant street that I don't take much notice of, but Jackie also shot a cool stunt with horse carriages on the tram lines and across the footpath. Flinders Street Station also makes an appearance when Jackie Chan, God, they really hit all the spots, don't they? Was seen yelling at a bunch of undercover cops trying to follow him instead of tailing gangsters. The one location that I was surprised to have found out I had explored before was the Carlton Clock Tower, only clocking at 3 seconds with their appearance. I remembered casually strolling around there after seeing a film at Cinema Nova. I happened to have taken a few shots of the clock tower on colour film. So there you go. Go to the Discord, get the exclusive content of Andy's photos side by side with the clock tower in the film Mr. Nice Guy. Check him out. I like Andy's shots are very nice, actually. Andy's shots are better looking than the film. I'm not going to lie. Very nice. Thank you, Andy. Okay. Good answer there. I mean, hey, for Andy hasn't been outside of Victoria, he had a quality answer.
No, he's been to Vietnam. He just hasn't seen a film from there.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't seen one either, Andy, so it's fine. Okay. Our favourite screen locations we've been to. Fitzy, I feel like there's a chance we might have some overlap. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess mine is the Sopranos, right? Is that the Sopranos diner and the...
You sat in the seat too? You sat in the seat?
Oh, yeah. I got a photo of that, yeah.
Oh,
so, and the Bada Bing as well.
Oh, the Bada Bing.
I was too young to enter, but yeah, the Bada Bing. That was good.
I got to enter the Bada Bing because I was a
really?
junior.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. It was kind of I don't know. It was kind of underwhelming, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Well, what do you expect? I don't know. It's fucking strip club. What do you expect? But I don't know. I just kind of walked in and went to the toilet. I was like, hey.
Oh,
and I walked out.
There you go.
I was in there for like probably 1 minute total.
Zach's been to a strip club.
Yeah, literally only because it's a screen location.
Yeah. Still trying to defend it, mate. Where I don't really know where else. Like, there's nowhere else specific that I can really think of.
It doesn't have to be specific. It's just like places used on the screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even when I was in Hong Kong, it's like I didn't really recognize. I didn't really recognize the feeling of it, like the John Wick like neon thing. That wasn't really
External affairs.
Yeah, but like that.
Right.
But
like
like
that.
that.
Hong Kong is that Taiwan?
No,
is it? Yeah, but like none. Like when I went to Hong Kong, I didn't recognize any kind of movie feeling from it. You know, it felt distinct from the aesthetics that those films put out. So, I mean, we were in Hollywood. We stayed in Hollywood when we were in LA. Saw the Hollywood sign. So, yeah,
Hollywood
there's probably a few films that were something.
Yeah, no, that's fair. The I mean, dude, sitting in the booth of the Sopranos final shot, that's great. Can't beat that. That's like it's got to be my actual number one. You know what I mean?
It's very awkward though because people actually eat there, and they're just like, obviously they get it.
Because they reserve that booth for like literally just the tour, so it's just always blocked out. And so like you walk into it just a normal operating diner, and then you go in there, sit in that booth, take a photo, and then jump out.
Yeah,
the next group comes in and takes the photo.
Yeah, but like the people like there was people behind us or whatever, like in the back of the restaurant that had to like they were just always like covering their face, you know. I was like, here
really?
comes the Sopranos, the boss. Yeah.
Maybe
they changed it where they actually like blocked it out or something now, but back then it was like kind of awkward.
Yeah. I mean, I can see how it would be awkward. Yeah. I mean, when we were there, it was packed. It was like we felt like we should like get something. I don't know. But yeah, you can't stay sitting there for too long. Yeah, I don't know. Well, how do you feel about like Times Square? I don't know. I mean, is that kind of generic?
What movie are you linking it to? If you're linking it to Amazing Spider-Man 2, not generic at all. If you're linking it to, I don't know, something else.
For some reason, Mr. Robot comes to mind for me first for no particular reason. But
no, I don't know. Like it was the same thing where like a feeling wasn't evoked. Like because Times Square, it's just so like commercial that you just get distracted by like anything, like the freaking the people in Elmo suits and the the Lion
Oh, yeah.
King, play advertisement, and it's just like
The music. Oh, yeah.
yeah, the musical, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think those are mainstays of Times Square.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I don't know. It's like New York City, like the whole fucking thing. I mean, I went to a few specific places. Like, there's that that bridge in Spider-Man 3 where like who is it? Is that one with Peter and Harry? No, that one's with Mary Jane and Harry, or Mary Jane and Peter. I can't remember. But the one in Central Park, that bridge, very distinct looking bridge where they stand, have that dialogue scene. And I can't remember if Peter's in the bushes, sort of like watching, or if it's Harry or it's the other. I can't remember which way around it is.
Oh, like the small
But,
bridge, like the walk
Yeah,
over bridge.
yeah, and they kind of standing on. They kind of stand. Tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that joint. That's a cool looking bridge. Yeah. I mean, I actually can't beat the Sopranos ending, to be honest with you. But I did go to the Succession Church, of episode, I can't say what it is, I guess. But,
season 4.
The season 4 church, I'll say that.
Yeah. Okay.
That was really cool. I took a selfie with a peace sign out the front of it. And yeah. I told you I went to the Succession final shot spot as well, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
I can't remember. It was like, so like, obviously, it's like the bench. It's like the bench against the water.
Mm.
Like it was blocked off. Like you couldn't actually sit on the bench. You could see, I could see it right there. And there's like a line of benches. You could see them. But like at the time there was like, I don't know, construction or some shit. And you couldn't, like I was just standing right there, like 10 meters away from it. And I just couldn't get.
Is that like at the bottom of Manhattan? Or is it like on one of the sides?
No, yeah, it's down the bottom near the financial district. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been like around there.
Yeah. I think it's called Battery Park, I think is what it's called. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. But it's kind of cool because in universe, it makes perfect sense. Like Kendall works in the financial district.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's where Waystar is, and then it's the nearest park. He would just walk there. That's what he would do.
It's like he's walking to the end of the earth,
Yeah. But it's actually a convenient walk for him. It's not, it's a random spot like way over there. They just wanted the shot for. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, I had some good ones. I enjoyed those. Jaden, what about you?
I don't know.
Perfect
really.
Day spots.
No, it's not from Perfect Days. It's from Tokyo Heaven, which is one of my favorite movies. It's this there's a shot late in the film where the two kind of characters are on a boat in like a little. It was like a little river thing. I thought it was like an actual river, but then I was trying to find it on the map, and it doesn't make sense for like a river to be in that perspective. And then I found it was it's called Hamariku Park, and I was looking at images of it, and like I have been to that park as well. It's just a nice place, but then like linked with like one of my favorite movies as well. It just makes it really nice. Just a cute little park in Tokyo.
That's banging. Does this park have banging toilets as well? I feel like I just imagine every park in Tokyo has killer toilets now.
Nah, I don't really recall. But also, like I said last week, like those 17 toilets are like the most famous like toilets you will ever have.
Yeah. Because they sort of did. The film sort of made them feel like every toilet's like
a dime a dozen type thing. But
Yeah.
Like no, they are like, yeah.
I know it's like obviously the point, so I'm not saying anything like interesting, but dude, those toilets when like he locked it and then the windows went untransparent, you know what I mean? That shit was insane. I was like, what is that? I need that.
It's called smart glass.
Smart glass.
Yeah, you can buy it for your
phenomenal.
home.
Really?
Yeah, it's just with a flick of a switch. You send a charge, or you do the alternative where you take the charge out, and it'll either frost it or unfrost it. You can like make patterns and shit as well.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've never seen it in my life. I thought it was sick. All right. Very good. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server this week. Specific question we'll be asking you is, what is an unconventional belief that you entertain? let us know. Go as wild as you want. This is our polite way of asking if you are a conspiracy theorist. It's really not. Well, it kind of is. But
if you believe it now.
It kind of is. Well, what's some ideas, some theories, some, world beliefs, whatever you want to call them, that you like, not necessarily like believe, but like you somewhat agree with, find interesting, anything like that? Let us know. I feel like, even though this is sort of a bit out of order, but I feel like Fitzy needs to tell us right now what the next film is to like justify this question.
We're doing Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's about aliens. Steven Spielberg. UFO, encounter. So,
Hell yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss. It's on Foxtel, I think. Yeah. We can rent it.
Yeah.
But that's absolutely the vein of the question. Aliens. They're weird. I mean, not weird. We don't want to expel any judgment. Just outlandish. No, not outlandish. What is it?
Unconventional is sort of the best you can do.
Yeah, but there's not too many synonyms for it.
Alternative.
Alternative. That's good.
Yeah, there we go. Alternative beliefs.
Alternative beliefs that you entertain. Yeah. I like that. Again, that could also be interpreted in like a bad way, but in the spirit of the show, we're not bad people, obviously. Okay. Obviously. Before we go, we have Instagram poll nominees to announce. Jaden and I are going head-to-head, nominating a film each. And you, the audience, must vote to decide which film we'll be reviewing in a fortnight's time. Jaden, kick us off. I'm not feeling great about this, but
I'm taking us back to our roots, real early day stuff. Episode like 5 to 7 specifically, I believe.
Whoa.
Doing a Western.
Okay.
Does that give you any clues as to which Western it would be?
No.
Hell or High Water, Taylor Sheridan.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know if either of you guys have seen it. I probably should have checked, but
I have seen it.
Yeah, I've also seen it.
No, that's fine. I'm happy to rewatch it. I saw it years ago.
Yeah, it's his big film that I haven't seen. Actually, I've seen. I
thought you saw it.
No, I haven't seen it. Yeah.
Nice. All right, I'm down for that. I'll be nominating George Lucas's American Graffiti because it's a fucking crime. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So,
that's basically. I was scouring the watch list. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? Let's see if anyone wants to vote for this.
What's it on? It used to be on Netflix. I don't think it is anymore.
It's on Foxtel.
Oh, okay.
I also bought the DVD, which is sort of sparked it. Yeah. But it is on Foxtel. Yes. Okay. Very good. So there are your two options. Go to our Instagram page and check out our stories sometime within 24 hours after this episode goes live and cast your vote. But that's it. I appreciate Liam and Jan for being here. As always, have a great rest of your week, everyone, and goodbye.